Welcome back. It's going to be a one-story video today, and let's get right to it. Opie writes, I, 28 female, am a single working mom. I remained pregnant in a previous relationship with my ex and decided to carry on the pregnancy since I was very excited to become a mom. I was able to get a 12 weeks unpaid maternity leave from work, and after that, since I live very far away from my family and had no one who could help me, I started looking for a babysitter. And fortunately enough, in no time I found a fellow 32 female mom who agreed to come at my house to watch and take care of my newborn 5 days a week for 9 hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. She was super nice and bonded with my child pretty easily, and since she seemed very skilled, I was very serene. I didn't give her many rules to follow, other than a summary of everything that happened during my work shifts at home, and that she isn't allowed in my bedroom. Before going to work, I always made sure to leave all the necessary, like diapers, pacifier, his favorite plushie, etc., on the table. Also leaving the milk I pumped in biberons inside the fridge, which she was instructed to use. The first 2 months went absolutely great, with no issues whatsoever. When I came home, she would summarize everything that happened/she did, and I always found everything in perfect order, plus used biberons. So she was following the indications I gave her. However, some strange things started happening during my newborn's 6th month. He started refusing my breasts altogether, refusing to latch on, and after a while of me gently trying, he would start to get annoyed. But he accepted the biberon with my milk just fine. After talking with a babysitter, who was a mother before me, and doing some research, I concluded that it could have been something related to the fact that he got more used to the biberon, or to the fact I may have had a different smell. It was a very stressful period, so it could have been. Either way, I didn't think too much of it, since he was still getting fed, until it became impossible for me to keep humping because I wasn't producing enough milk no more. So I decided to switch to the formula, and gave instructions to her like usual. Also, I decided to start weaning my child, and I asked her to introduce some solid foods too. However, after 2 months, at his 8th month, I started to feel like something wasn't adding up. In 2 days, it seemed like I was using way more formula than her in 5 days. So I confronted her about it and asked her if she was using formula, and she confirmed. I then thought it was my impression, even because the baby had never complained. However, something was still troubling me. So the next day, I hid a GoPro in my living room and an old phone recording in the kitchen, just to make sure. And when I came back and watched the recordings, everything started to make sense. I was horrified. After I went away, she took my baby, sat on the sofa, and started breastfeeding him. Not once, but thrice, for a lot of time. I was shocked. My baby was latching to another woman's breast after he refused mine, and now it started to make sense why. But not only that, she never went to the kitchen to get formula or to get some solid food for the baby, but only to cook for herself. And while she was eating, she was still breastfeeding my baby, keeping him with only one hand under the butt. But the worst is, she was trying to get herself to be called, quote, mama, unquote, by my newborn. She sat him on her legs and started saying things like, quote, say, mama, unquote, quote, who am I? Mama, unquote. And my son uttered it, and she replied back with, quote, that's my good boy, unquote, and kissed him. After that, I was trying to get myself to not puke. I was heartbroken, and I felt like I trusted the worst woman I could ever trust. After that, I immediately called her and confronted her at my house. I told her I knew everything, and I showed her the videos. Her response was that my son needed a real mother in his life, not a mother available only 2 days a week, and also that she was not going to feed formula to a baby of frozen milk, but that she was only going to feed him with, quote, real milk, unquote, admitting that she had done it since day one. I will not report the entire discussion because after that I wasn't polite at all. Needless to say, I fired her immediately. Not only she breastfed my son without my consent, but she was trying to replace me. I'm horrified and broken. Right now, I took a week out of work. I need to process everything that happened, and also I need to reconnect with my son. I feel like our family was violated. I just needed to vent. Thank you for reading. Edit. It's very hard for me to reply back to every single comment, so I'm going to use this edit as an update and clarification. First of all, she isn't local. I live in the countryside, so we don't have much services like agencies or stuff. I tried posting on some Facebook groups and left my phone number. After probably half an hour, she reached out to me, first asking me for a photo and a description of my child since she wanted to know how he was, and then asked me where I lived. And we found out that we lived like 40 minutes away from each other by car. It seemed too much for me, but she still agreed wholeheartedly to take care of my child. I forgot to mention that she admitted pouring down the sink my bottled breast milk so that it seemed like she used it. I pumped for goodness knows how long before work just to make her trash it. She had the keys to my house for every eventuality, but I recollected them back before firing her. But I will still change the locks like someone suggested. Now for the updates. I got my baby checked straight away and nothing seems out of place. I'm so relieved, but I'll still wait for more in-depth analysis since I'm still worried a little bit. It seems like she also entered my bedroom. I always made sure to lock the door since there's a safe and I have valuables inside, but sometimes I did forget about it, like the last day, since I was so caught up trying to set up the cameras. I found some blonde hair on my sheets and found some way less of them also on the shower drain of my personal bathroom, which you can't access outside my bedroom. So I guess she showered, and even guess she used my towels, since I didn't find new used ones in the bathroom or in the laundry. And she clearly didn't take towels from home, since she never asked me to shower at my house, which I would have agreed without an issue. Moreover, it seems like I'm missing a pair of bra and slips, and I really hope she didn't put her hands in my drawer and use them as a change of clothes, even because she has probably 2 cups more than me and she has bigger hips. I really hope to find them in my laundry chest. I also have a feeling that she took my newborn outside multiple times. When I became pregnant, I bought a stroller and a baby carrier because I thought I needed them both. But when I went out, I always used the stroller since it was more comfortable for me. I never opened the baby carrier and left it in the box in the guest room, behind the door when opened. I was making sure everything was all right since I understood I couldn't trust her no more in anything at all. And when I checked the guest room, I found the baby carrier unpacked and unwrapped inside the box. I could say it was used. Since being white, it was a little dirty on the shoulders and it smelled a bit. I don't know if she used inside the house, but I don't think so since I never saw her wearing it and she never mentioned it to me. And also, I never mentioned its existence to her. I only have 2 neighbors near me. I tried talking to them, but they were of no help. I really hope she didn't bring my baby outside, and I hope she didn't bring him for road trips with a car or stuff. That's because I remember her having a baby seat in the car, even if she said that her daughter was now 7, so she wouldn't need such a small one. But at the time, I didn't connect the 2 things. I don't know how to feel. I now realize that in 9 hours, 5 days a week, she could have possibly done everything. I don't know how it works in my country for those kind of things, but I'm currently talking to a lawyer to understand if I can press charges and how to do that. I hope for the best. In the meantime, I asked for help to my mom, and she is currently coming to stay for some time to my house, help me and my child, and take care of him when the week off will finish. I wasn't at ease hiring another babysitter. My baby still doesn't want to latch on, and I can feel that he isn't that much at ease with me. I tried making him utter the same things she did, but without making it. He doesn't want to. I managed to make him latch only once when he was very sleepy for a short time, but it's still something. Fortunately, he takes up the formula just fine. I will work through it to reconnect with my child and to hopefully overcome this bad event. Thank you very much for your support, comments and advice. This will probably be my first and last update on this post, since I need to move on and get my head straight. Mothers, please always be aware of who is taking care of your child/children. I know that probably most people would say that it's not my fault, but I still think it is. So please watch out. Again, thanks to all of you. Well, 3 weeks later, Opie did give another update. First of all, I would like to thank everyone who expressed support. It meant a lot and helped with this more than surreal situation. In those 20 days, a lot happened, and I would like to give an update on the situation. Also because it took a heavy toll on me and I need to vent a little. First off, my baby is completely okay. Even after more in-depth analysis, nothing showed up. This relieved me a lot, but unfortunately, those are the only good news. I talked to a lawyer and contacted the police, but unfortunately, in my country, there are no laws against breastfeeding someone else's child without consent. They could have done something if she transmitted a disease through the milk and was aware of the presence of it, and if I could demonstrate that he didn't have the disease before hiring her. Nor can it be classified as assault because, of course, my baby can't testify against the babysitter. I showed them the tapes, but they are of no use since my baby gladly accepted her breasts and she didn't force him. So I have my hands tied. I can't do anything about it. It's so frustrating since she violated my family and my baby and there's literally nothing I can do. I'm still talking to my lawyer to see if I can still sue her. But it's really complicated and the chances are very, very low. I was able to talk to her one more time on the phone since I needed to know what else she did with my baby and to see if my speculations were correct. And indeed they were. Worse than I expected. She confirmed basically everything. She did take my son outside multiple times using the baby carrier or the stroller nearly once a day. And she also admitted breastfeeding him outside quite frequently. If that wasn't enough, she also confirmed taking my baby for road trips with a car when she needed to run errands or do stuff that she didn't clarify, and that it, quote, did happen more than a dozen times, but she doesn't remember, unquote. Her words. I said that she shouldn't have done that, and she replied that, quote, there's nothing wrong with it, unquote, and that, quote, my baby liked her driving a lot, unquote. She also admitted passing my baby as hers when she was outside, justifying it by saying that sometimes she stopped to talk to other mothers, and it was, quote, simpler, unquote, this way. This really made me shiver with rage. She confirmed going into my room to shower and using my bed to rest with a baby because she felt dizzy. When I confronted her by reminding her that she wasn't allowed in my room, she said that, quote, she didn't remember, unquote, and that, quote, it was not a big deal since nothing happened, unquote. Regarding that, I asked her if she took a pair of bra and slips from me, and she also confirmed that, but saying that she had borrowed them while waiting for hers to dry, and after that, she put them in the laundry chest. Note, I never found them. Either something happened or she stole them from me. I don't know what to think. I finally asked her why she did those things to my baby, and she said that a son like mine needed a mother, a real, caring mother like her in his life, and that a mother who works nearly all week is not good enough, and that I would never be good enough for him. I was going crazy, but I decided to end the conversation with her there, because shouting was not going to solve anything. I was disgusted by all of that and left the call worse than how I started it. And there's literally nothing I can do against her for what she did. I tried informing other mothers on Facebook about what she did, but my posts got taken down for defamation and hate speech. My mother is still helping me, watching after my son while I work, and things are slowly getting back to, quote, normal, unquote. but I can't erase this sense of powerlessness. I think I will go to therapy once things get better. My son still doesn't seem much at ease with me, but I'm trying my best to recover our bond. He still doesn't want to latch to my breast, not even a bit. This hurts me a lot, but I know I need to be strong for him too. Thank you very much for reading my venting, and I really hope nothing like this happens to any of the fellow mothers out there. OP, oh my goodness. I can feel your hurt and your frustration, and I read a lot of stories where it's very clear that there's a person in the story that's mentally not quite stable, has mental health issues, and so forth. So a person can have some understanding for their actions, but with this story and some others, it's very clear that we're dealing here with a very malicious person. This was malicious, what she did, and she knows it, and she seems proud of it. Everything you said about the conversation you had with her and what she said to you, it's very clear to me that she enjoyed hurting you and telling you all that stuff and saying you're not good enough for your son and all those cruel things. I'm very shocked that there's nothing you can do about this because you never gave her, as you said, you never gave her consent to breastfeed your son. I'm sure this is not the first time she's done something like this. She definitely knows there's nothing you can do about it. She seems way too cocky, way too confident in the way she threw all of this in your face and the things she said. There's just a lot of maliciousness and deviousness about this. And OP, as for her wearing your bra and your slip, oh my goodness, you do not want that back. It's a good thing it's gone. You don't want it back. And that's another thing that shows this nastiness, this malicious behavior on this woman's part. She said she was wearing those because hers were getting cleaned or whatever. You know, she could have stayed then with your towel wrapped around her, or even taken your nightgown and put that on, which is still not acceptable, but it's certainly better than taking your underwear and wearing that. It's highly unusual behavior, and also her taking your son out in the car a lot. It's just strange to me that there's also nothing you can do about that, since you never consented to that as well. And that's what this whole story is about. It's about the lack of consent, and somebody still went and did all these things. I know some people do use somebody else to nurse their child for them or to help nurse the child for them, their baby, but this is not the case in the story. There was not consent. So, wow, that's all I can say about this story. And OP, I really hope the therapy can help you. I do believe you're going to be okay because you're very much focused on your son and reconnecting with him and being strong for him and so forth. This is so the hand that rocks the cradle almost is what it reminds me of if you've seen that movie from the 90s. But anyway, that's it for this edition. I thank you so much for joining me once again. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Consider subscribing and let me know, please, in the comments what you think of this story and if anything remotely like this has ever happened to you. Until next time, take good care of yourselves. Bye.